Hey everyone, good to be back on again. No, I've not been on for a while. I've been trying to put a video together for a particular topic, but I've not really been sure how to approach it, or what to say, or um, so I just figured I'd just stick my camera on and prayed for the Lord to just lead me with it. And so if it goes well, all glory to Him. Um, and I'll just sort of see where it goes, really. Um, yeah, and I just want to start like by sort of acknowledging I do realise this topic is it's one that generally it gets seen as like a divisive topic, and it's one that gets you kind of seen as like a bit of an idiotic moron. And it gets you ridiculed a lot of the time. It's like a sort of instant reaction people have to it, which I think should be something people should question why there is that reaction and why they believe what they believe. Um, I think that should be a sort of starting point. If you, not everyone's like that, but if you have this kind of reaction to it where you think, oh, that's just worthy of ridicule, it's not even worth looking into. Why do you have that opinion? Have you actually looked into any of it yourself, or is it just there? You've just got this reaction to it. Um, yeah, I was just yeah. I mean, I've been to school just like the rest of you have. I've been indoctrinated with the wisdom of this world, from the wise men of this world, which the Bible warns us about, doesn't it? The wisdom of this world is foolishness to God, and that we must become fools to be wise. And I can't think of any better way to quickly become a fool than to talk about biblical cosmology, which is what I'm going to talk about today. Trying to avoid the term flat Earth, because I can imagine as soon as I say that now, a lot of people will just switch off straight away because there's that reaction to it. But I prefer biblical cosmology because when you read the first page of the Bible, this is what we're told. There's a literal 7 days of creation where God spoke everything into existence because He can do that because He's God, and there wasn't like billions, millions of years like we get told by these high priests of scientism today, the wise men of the world who we're warned about in the Bible. Um, we kind of get told a completely different narrative to what it goes through in Genesis, aren't we? Like Genesis tells us the order of things. It's not just like a poetic, or like like you have future prophecies and things in the Bible, don't you? Where it's like all symbolic and things. But this is an actual creation account given to Moses by God. It's in order as well. Day one, day two, day three. And it's all given in order. And what we're told in there is that the earth was created first, and then it follows on from there, and then later on the sun, moon, and stars. The sun, the moon, the stars, not the sun and billions of other suns. Um, it's we have two great lights in our sky: the sun, the moon, and the stars, which are within the firmament dome, um, with which is yes, the firmament which has the waters above. It separates the waters above from the waters below, and we're within the heaven. It's described as the heaven. Within the firmament where the birds fly, in the heaven, the firmament of the open expanse of the heaven, I think the term is, where the birds fly, and then we've got the waters above, and then you've got God's throne above it, which Satan's replaced with. Well, God is above us, and God is light, isn't He? And what Satan's done, and God's infinite, eternal, and what Satan's done is he's replaced that with the creation being infinite, eternal, but it's infinite darkness, this black void of space. Does that even sound like something God would create? Like a black, empty, dark void with dark matter and dark clouds and all these things they say. Um, I mean, there's lots of ways you can look at it yourself, even. Like, say you've got a telescope, people say, well, look, there's stars there, I can see them. Well, yes, there are stars there. The Bible describes the stars, lights. What you're seeing is lights. You're not seeing burning balls of gas trillions of light years away, like the high priests of scientism tell you. They're these things are all local. The sun and the moon are on a circuit around us, like in Joshua, where the sun and the moon stopped on their circuit. They stopped above specific areas, so we're told that there. And then there's other places in the Bible where we're told that as well. It's the sun that stops. It's not the Earth suddenly stopped rotating, and then everyone gets flung everywhere. And I mean, Joshua wouldn't have to. There wouldn't have to be any armies to be defeated if that happened, because the tidal wave would wipe everyone out. And it's all through the Bible. The Bible it really is a flat Earth book when you read through it, and what they actually the Hebrews and that what was believed back then. It's a flat Earth book from front to back. And I mean, people agree with me. If I say about the Bible, I say that they agree with me that in this fallen world, our only source of reliable truth is our Bibles. As things are going to get crazier and crazier, more and more deception and lies from the enemy, which the world's already full of that already, because Satan has his sway over all the kingdoms of this world, doesn't he? Until Jesus comes back to rule, till he loosens the seals, takes the title deeds of the world, and comes back to rule as king for 1,000 years. There's Satan until that point. He's still got his sway over the kingdoms of this world, and obviously God's got him on a leash, but it's kind of, so you've got to realise that like these people in power are under his influence, and they are doing his work for him, and you sort of look into like the history of places like NASA, and where they took on all these ex-Nazis, and it's got like that sort of Masonic and Nazi kind of background to it. So that's not the best foundation to start on, is it? And then they supposedly sent man to space in that little tin can that you see. And they reckon that he went through these Van Allen radiation belts and got there no trouble, but we can't do it now because it's too dangerous. And they say that they've lost all of the telemetry data, which is convenient, isn't it? If they've just mislaid it or destroyed it, I think he said, the chief engineer at NASA, saying that it's been destroyed. It's a painful process to build it back. But I really think the reason don't want to go back, they're talking about Mars now, aren't they? They don't want to go back to the moon because they know people have got telescopes and things, and even just cameras. You know, was it Nikon Coolpix 900 or something? I think that's it. It's got like a really powerful zoom on it, so you could use something like that. You zoom in and you can actually watch and see if they're doing what they say they are, so people can see for themselves. But now they're sort of saying that they're sending people out to Mars and then just showing you all this CGI stuff of, they go to somewhere like Greenland, send a rover around and these alien looking landscapes, and then I can do it myself on my own video editing software. You take a video and you can you can edit all the colours on it, and so that you can make it look like a real reddy colour, and then you can add in like all haze, and you can do anything. It's like Photoshop now, isn't it? But video's digital. It's like loads of different frames of like images, 30 frames a second. You just edit it like you do a photo, and they just do that. They just edit it to look however they want, and then they say, "Oh, look, there's Mars. Give us your money." But I think there's something a lot more sinister behind all of it, where it's not just they're trying to take your money and deceive you that way. I think I call it Satan's creation. Is like most of the church kind of acknowledges about evolution being a lie and stuff, but they don't go further back from there. And then even if they admit that we're lied to about this world we live on, they still sort of believe that it's just a geocentric planet that we live on. They believe that part. But I think we haven't gone back far enough. I think it goes back to, it is the way the Hebrews believed it was. We live in this enclosed area of like a pocket of air, and you've got the waters above. just like it said, and the sun, moon, and stars are within the firmament. I mean, there's loads of ways you can approach it. There's like you can do, because these scientists, it's not really true science. It's referred to as scientism by a lot of people, which sums it up really. It's more like a religion. You have to believe what they're doing. They just have all these theories, like Darwin's theory, isn't it? Or all these things like sort of gravity and yeah, you've got Einstein's general theory of relativity, which he kind of developed that to disprove the Michelson-Morley experiment, I think it was, where he proved that the Earth wasn't moving. There's no detectable rotation, and apparently I haven't been able to find it. I don't think there's any scientific experiment out there that's proven that the Earth is actually rotating, and people just believe what they're told and showing these CGI images, and look, there it is. There's the Earth. There's Mars. But it's just CGI images, and when rockets take off, they go in a big arch, and then there's land further out into sea. They don't actually go out anywhere. There's just so many angles you can approach it from, like satellites. When there's a meteor shower, you don't hear about loads of satellites being taken out, do you? Or I heard someone talking the other day, which makes sense as well. Like they say about these satellites are made of aluminium, which burns up at something like 600 degrees, but they're meant to be out in the thermosphere, which is like 2,000 degrees. So why don't they just melt up? And I think it was China, probably a couple of months ago now, so they had something out about making a wooden satellite, and it's like, and people believe it. They don't even have to try anymore. And I think it's only like the last 500 years or so when this all came in, and Satan's gradually planted it in. I don't think the church should ever have accepted it, because the word says otherwise. It's our source of reliable truth. But because NASA says otherwise, we're believing the word of NASA over our Bibles. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, but in this world, scientism has become the way, the truth, and the life, hasn't it? It's like scientism's got all the answers, and scientism is the truth. You can't argue with the truth, because if you do, you're just ignorant and you don't know any better. And so if you're arguing, you're not just arguing with someone's opinion, you're arguing with the truth. So you're starting off on a bad point, aren't you? Because people see it as the truth. So how can you possibly argue with the truth? Scientific fact. And I think Satan's used that, and he's twisted it. And I mean, I'm not going to be as good as going into it. As there's a guy on online that I like, and he covers a lot of this, and he has some really interesting people talking about it. It's called Celebrate Truth, the channel. Robbie Davidson, he's really good. He's good at laying out his arguments and things, and he has interesting people on. And there's other channels. There's one like Globebusters, which is a good one, and they go more into like actual like experiments and things that you can repeat, and which is what science is meant to be: repeatable, observable, repeatable. You have these experiments and you have hypotheses, but today, scientific fact is just these. You get these theoretical physicists that come up with these theories, and then they make other theories to patch up other theories, and come up with all this complex maths that. Nikola Tesla had a quote. I'll probably misquote him slightly, but he was saying like, you know, these I think it's cosmologists or physicists today come up with these complex mathematical equations that have no bearing on reality. They just form their own world out of these numbers, and this is what Satan's used, I think, to mislead people. And I just hate to see it. It's like, it's not, like I say, it's not an easy thing to talk about. It's like it's hard enough to find sort of Christian fellowship and things as it is, but something like this, people see your videos and then they're just going to make fun of you and think you're a bit wacko and things. But I just feel a sort of burden to talk about these things, because I actually believe it is like, it's one of those things that, because I didn't just arrive at this just out of nowhere. just saw someone talking about it. Oh, there, oh, I'm deceived by this person now. It's something that I was really digging into myself, because I could see before I was even Christian that NASA were lying about things weren't tying up, and then I was reading my Bible, and I was seeing what all these people were talking about, sort of flat Earth and things, and it was tying up more with what the Bible says than what NASA says, and then I started looking into it more. But what you'll find nowadays, if you go searching for like flat Earth stuff, what you get first of all is you just get a load of just nonsense channels which are just there to throw people off the track. Or you get like the Flat Earth Society, and they talk about the Earth's this spinning disc going upwards, and gravity's just because the force is pushing downwards on you when you're going upwards. And there's all this nonsense that just because people will search for it. I think like when journalists and things talk about it, they'll just go straight to the Flat Earth Society, pluck off a stupid argument, and then they'll use that as like what these crazy flat earthers believe, sort of thing. They don't go to the actual legit people that are putting forward good arguments. And like I say, there's real engineers and things, and talking about how things like these space capsules and things they use couldn't even work, or spacesuits couldn't work. You're meant to be in these material spacesuits, and a vacuum's trying to pull all the gas outwards. These people would be like the Michelin Men if the suit even worked. There's a lot of these things don't, and then they wouldn't be able to work on anything because their hands would be getting pulled outwards. You wouldn't be able to grab spanners and things in space. There's a lot of this stuff. Once you actually start really thinking about it and seeking the truth, I think the Lord opens your eyes to it. I think that's what it takes. If you just sort of are happy to go along being patted on the back by the world with whatever the world believes about the world, then I don't think your eyes will get open to it, because you're not seeking for the truth. But if you read your Bible and you think this doesn't tie up with what we're being told, I owe it to myself and to God to actually look into it. And that's all I'd ask people to do. Just look into it. Start off maybe that Celebrate Truth channel. I can't really recommend a better channel than that one. There's other ones as well, but he's a good Christian guy, and he's covers his arguments really well, and he's got a good documentary as well called Scientism Exposed. And he's got Scientism Exposed too, but I don't think you can watch it in the UK. I did manage to see a clip of it on Facebook somewhere, but it's the first one you can watch anyway. The second one had some copyright thing on it, and you couldn't watch it properly because someone didn't like their video clip being used on it, and he was commenting on it or whatever. But yeah, like I said, it's one of those things. There's so many ways you can approach it. I didn't really know where to come at it from. I was just I think I will make a proper video on it, a bit more concise and actually. But I just wanted to get the ball rolling and just start talking and see where it went. I just think it is. It's an important topic. 'Cause like I say, that the enemy is going to be the deception's going to get worse and worse, isn't it? And I just think if people are believing, because it says even the very elect, if it were possible, would be deceived by the enemy in the end times, isn't it? And I just think if people have got a false idea of what this reality is, where we live, and Jesus is on his throne, he is literally above us, and there aren't any other planets and things out there. When NASA says, like NASA's told us that basically that the first page of our Bible is wrong, it's been disproven, scientism's disproved it, we've run the numbers, God doesn't exist, because that's what people think, isn't it? Now they come to the Bible, they see the first page and they think, well, that's a load of nonsense, science has proved that wrong, and then they probably just don't even come to it again. I know the Lord is using this to bring people to the Bible, because they suddenly realise this world isn't what we're told it is, and then it's drawing them to the Bible, and they realise that the Bible is our only reliable source of truth, and we have been lied to by the enemy. And then it also opens your eyes to, oh right, well, look how deceived he has got the world with this. Like, he really is a liar and a deceiver, and we've underestimated him, and we've taken our eyes off the ball, so to speak. And like I said, I don't think this should have ever have got into the church in the first place. We should never have accepted it. This, what's become like the religion of the world, of scientism, should never have accepted it. But there is true science out there. We can measure things, and you can sort of make predictions and things then, can't you, from like the measurements you've taken, measuring the material world. But scientism is just believing these like theoretical physicists when they go off in their numbers, and they talk about all these black holes and trillions of light years and all this stuff that they tell you they can measure. It's just ridiculous. It just gets into science fiction, and when it comes back to it's like with evolution. The very first cell just had to pop into existence out of nowhere, fully functioning. But then it goes back even further to the Big Bang. Everything had to pop into existence out of nothing, which is what they say, isn't it? The biggest problem in modern day physics is nothing, because they can't explain how everything came out of nothing. But then they all start trying to come up with because nothing isn't really nothing. Nothing is like a bubbling ball of protons and blah, 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 blah. They come up with all this nonsense. It's like modern day sorcery, really. Just fill people's minds with this nonsense. Put spinning balls on the front of every movie you watch, and it's just breaking. Because I mean, like I say, I've had the same schooling and things as other people have had, like just the basic schooling, going through school and everything, and then you have like a globe in the corner. You see it on every movie. You see it when you watch the weather reports and tell you they have to have a spinning ball that they zoom in on. They just have all this nonsense that fills people's heads with, oh yeah, that's where we live. But when you actually start looking into it, and you see some of like the clips where they've caught them out on the space station, where you can see the wires attached to them and things, and it's like, and like a blue screen behind them on one of them, a gridded blue screen, and it's just, it starts to unravel if you really want the truth when you look into it. But no one can force anyone to do that. I think it's just to come from that hunger for the truth, no matter where it leads. Like if the truth gets you ridiculed and pushed out, but we're meant to be separate from this world as saints, aren't we? We're not meant to just go along with this world, be patted on the back. We have to, if it comes to it, you have to walk alone and stick to the truth, which is not pleasant. I mean, I don't want to have to do that, to walk alone and get pushed out of anywhere, but I just want to get the truth out there. As a burden to speak the truth. That's more important than being accepted. And I don't know what else I can say really on it. I'll have to sort of try, like I said, do a more concise video on it. There's loads of Bible verses about this world and the way it is, and it's. But then I don't know if there's much point in me going through all that, because there's already a ton of information out there. If people are looking into it, if you want to know the truth, you can find it. And that Celebrate Truth channel is a good place to start. And then you can look at some of the other channels and things that he has on. And yeah, I think it just starts to make a lot more sense. Once you get to that point, you realise this world isn't what you've been told all along, but you have to kind of humble yourself a bit and just realise that you have been deceived, and it is hard to convince people they've been deceived, isn't it? It's easier to deceive people than to convince them that they've been deceived in the first place, and we've let it go on for like 500 years, whatever it is. Where Satan's planted this into society, and he's just, like he does everything, he's perverted God's world, which is firm, immovable, on pillars, and he's taken it, he's made it a spinning ball. We don't know which way is up. We're going at 1,000 miles an hour, spinning round in an insignificant speck on the end of the Milky Way, and some arm on the Milky Way, and he's just made us an insignificant speck, whereas in reality we're the centre of it. We're God's special creation, and he's right above us. And that's what the enemy's come to seek, steal and destroy, and that's what he's doing, isn't it? He wants to destroy everything. He wants you to think that you came from monkeys and there's nothing different to you than the animals, and it's just every angle. He wants to destroy God's creation. He wants to destroy you. He wants you to feel like you're nothing. He wants the kids to feel like they're insignificant. Like if they came from animals, they're nothing more than animals. There's nothing different that sets them apart. They're not moral agents. They're just nothing more than animals, so they act like animals. And we wonder why. I just, I don't know. If anyone else is on the same sort of wavelength as me, I would appreciate being any advice you've got about trying to reach people with this, because it's such a hard thing, because you just hit a brick wall usually with ridicule, and I think it's just kind of meeting people where they're at, trying to figure out where they are and things, because if people still believe in the whole 9/11 account and moon landing, and you're not going to stand a chance reaching them, are you? But if their eyes are slightly open to the nature of this world and how fallen it is, and how much evil is really in power in this world, and how full of Satan's lies it really is. Because I had someone say, I watched that Sheep Among Wolves documentary about the Iranian underground church, and there was this woman on there who she went to I think it was the US. She's like a refugee or whatever. She went to the US, but she wanted to go back to Iran because even though her life was in danger there, she felt closer to God. Which I think that's what happens when Christians are more persecuted. It instantly draws you closer to God. You realise your need for Him more then. And, but she went to like the US and she wanted to go home because she said there's like this just satanic lullaby over the West. We just think everything's okay. We're all comfortable, and it's sort of Satan's happy with that, isn't he? He's happy for us all to just sit there in comfort, thinking everything's fine, no urgency to reach people with the gospel or anything. It's all he wants is for you to be. Don't look over here where Jesus is. He wants you to look over here. Look over here. Just don't look at Jesus. You can be doing whatever you like. He doesn't care as long as you're not looking at Jesus and focusing on Him, putting your trust in Him. It's it all just feeds in from this central lie. Satan's central lie, I think, is this ball Earth, like Big Bang ball Earth, and then his other web of lies comes out from that with all evolution and making people think they're nothing. And then people think they're nothing, and then morality can just become anything to anyone, can't it then? There's no objective moral standard. It's just you make your own morals up, whatever suits you kind of thing. One person has a different set of morals to another person, and no one holds to a higher set of standards from above, because he's just convinced people that we're nothing. Yeah, I don't know. So I took a load of notes on this, and I was trying to think about where to go with it, but I think perhaps I'll break it down into smaller videos and just make some smaller bite-sized chunk ones. Maybe people will let me know what they think down below, and but I know there's better channels for this than me. Like I was saying, out there, there's that Celebrate Truth. There's ODD TV does some good ones as well. There's channels. I mean, not all the channels are just Christian channels, but we're meant to be reaching out, aren't we? And not just be exclusive to Christians. We're trying to reach the world, and this is reaching a lot of people. It's, from what I've heard, some of these people, the testimonies where they've been reaching out with this true biblical cosmology, and people that are like atheists are coming to Christ through it, which there's not a lot of Christians reaching these atheists, I don't think. It takes something like that to reach them, and sometimes it takes us being ridiculed, doesn't it? We have to sort of lower ourselves to just be on the firing line and stuff to get this out to people. I mean, God's work's not always going to be pretty and clean, is it? It's going to be, some of it's messy work, and it's not what people want to do a lot of the time, but I just have it's just a burden on my heart just to get people to see the truth. And because I know for me it really opened my eyes to just the deception in this world, and just how brainwashed people are. Whereas people see it the other way. They think if you believe this stuff, that you're completely brainwashed. Where it's not like that at all. You've been looking into it for years, and because you just sense it. There's just things that don't tie up, and then you look into it deeper, and then it just starts to unravel before your eyes, and then you finally realise that the whole thing's a lie. We're just Satan's just hidden the true nature of this world from everyone. I'll leave it there, I guess, because I'm just sort of babbling a bit now. But like I said, I'll probably come on and just sort of do some more. I think sometimes I try to make too longer videos, and then I end up not getting them uploaded because I'm not sure how to piece it all together really, and what approach to take with it. So it might be better off just doing shorter ones with just key things. It might be easier for people to share stuff like that then as well, if I do like shorter ones with just key points on it, and then people can kind of, it gets to the point then for the person, and then it's easier for them just to share short videos, isn't it? And alright, catch you next time.